And here we are on the eve of the Italians call Martedì di Grasso, Fat Tuesday, an evening that's on the cusp of the season of Lent, okay, where we're supposed to say goodbye to the flesh for 40 days. I don't know about that, and hello to the spiritual aspect. By way of preparing for preparing the spirit or rejuvenating the spirit, each year we are happy to act as a medium for the creation of this experimental video festival. In Buddhist tradition, they call this the creation of a beautiful ornament. It's a wonderful film called the Buddhist Trilogy, shot in 1979, where members of the community come together and each crafts a separate mandala. The mandalas working together create a beautiful whole. Thank you, ladies. All right. And they offer this sort of psychic construct in an effort to harmonize the forces that are at work in the world, okay, to make the world a better place. In the Italian tradition and the Latin tradition, the evening of Fat Tuesday, where the people appear in masks, is to create a sort of, or create an even playing field to reduce the separateness and the divisions among people by the wearing of the mask. In a manner of speaking, all these videographers, these experimentalists have created a mask, an expression of themselves that they're offering to us tonight. And if you look at the imagery and examine the symbolism at work, kind of a current that runs through, it's most interesting when you really sense a sort of form that emerges. Now, this is not pre-planned. It's not solicited in any way. We put an offer out, video without a box, and people participate and begin to send in work. Naturally, the language expresses the underlying idea and intention of the festival, but fascinating the type of work we get. I'm getting a little dry, so that's a good time to stop talking. I offer you the Magical Charm Experimental Video Festival, and our first experimental is with us tonight, Mika Alskan. He will talk about his piece called A Winter's Note. Thank you. Mika.
So Winter Note was my thesis film from Pratt Institute. I graduated a year ago, and it was just me and 3 of my friends, and then my cousin. We went to my little country house in the middle of nowhere and shot this kind of meditative film and also a reflection of childhood. I hope you guys like it.
So much for sharing. The next piece we'll see is not represented by anyone in the audience. It's called A Lonely Heart in the Crowd. You see the artwork in the lobby. This is a multimedia artist from California, and her name is Molly Kellogg, and very supportive, very cool, a musician, a poet, a painter, a videographer, conceptualist. So I hope you enjoy this, and A Lonely Heart in the Crowd. Dr. Christopher Lamb in the house. The next piece, at the circus, we have a gentleman from the West Coast, Spokane, Washington, I believe, who will talk about a walk.
This film was suggested to me in early 2012 by a very vivid dream that I woke up, and my first thought was, this would make a very interesting, somewhat surreal short film. I have no experience of working technical side of film, whatever. I have no equipment and no know-how. So the next effort was to find the people who had the equipment and know-how to help me finish it, which in itself led to some considerable difficulties and delayed the finishing of the film until late in 2013. This is actually the official world premiere of the film, apart from one private screening that happened in 2014. It's a film, I wouldn't say quite an improvisation, but certainly very little of it was planned other than, like Jane Austen, I jotted down the dream so I wouldn't forget it. But everything else, hardly any shots were pre-planned, no storyboards were drawn. We experimented, went on location with angles and that sort of thing, and the great visual gimmick, if you will, of the film happened by necessity more than by intentional choice. So we might almost say that the film directed itself more than I directed it. And so at a circus that looks nothing like a circus, a man makes a truly extraordinary encounter.
Thank you. With us tonight with his family, Jared Robertson. We'd like to introduce him. Some of the actors involved in the creation of this piece are present tonight, and either he solo or with the members of the cast will be making a presentation telling us what this film, Not a Brother's Love, it's called Love is Blind. Love is Blind. Jared?
Okay.
Loving only short films about dreams, though. I honestly think that instead of people coming up to each other saying, "Hey, how was your day?" you should be like, "Hey, have you ever had a good dream recently?" It might be good, but all right. For this, it was kind of a different film that we started. We actually made this film without any kind of script whatsoever, and I was given these two actors who came up with their own characters. They actually came up with 3 sets of characters for me to choose from. And wherever you were inspired for those characters, I don't know.
Well, these are people that we know from our daily walk of life, and what we did is improvisation. There was no script per se, so we improvised, and little by little the story was created out of these characters that were picked by the director, and they were put together to interact, and that's the product that came out of it.
Right, so we would pretty much improv this film at the locations that I gave them over and over and over until we finally came up with like a 3-act structure that I thought would work. And then we shot this. But just keep in mind though, we never had any lines written down, any script, and they just pretty much had free for all to do anything they wanted.
So you threw out the concept, or you dreamt the concept, or imagined the concept?
I didn't dream it. It was actually, it was a program I was attending. It was a Mike Lee method. I think he makes his films without any scripts. So he was trying to give us a little bit of, experience of shooting a script, shooting a film without any kind of written anything at all. So this was all in our minds.
This idea of the twisted love story, or the darker aspects of love going
During
on.
Act 1, we didn't know where Act 2 would lead. And during Act 2, we didn't know how it would finish off. We just shot it, and this is what we came up with.
So an improvisational piece, but beautifully edited and well constructed. It flows, and I think the audience is ready to enjoy it. So thank you, the 3 of you, very much. And young lady, your name again?
Sarah.
Okay, then that's Sarah, the female protagonist of Love is Blind.
So hi, we are 2 Russians. We are studying in NIFA, and that was our quarter semester film project. So I decided to film her and I was inspired by her, so I come up with this idea to make this movie. So
My dark influence on her.
Your dark influence.
actually, I'm. This is my first project in this style because I'm a kids director. I'm making kids movies, and I'm actually some kids festivals know me as a kids director. So.
So you became her dark muse.
Yeah.
And stimulated her imagination. She began to look inside and came up with this strangely beautiful psychological study of a swimmer, which we're about to see, called Inside. I got your name wrong, but I got the title correct, yes? All right, ladies.
For some reason, God created me. He gave me a full body, strong soul, and a sound mind.
A fun guy, a dreamer, a musician. He works a number of mediums. A great participant. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a jaunty little piece, and I think you'll dig it. He's dreaming in stereo. A lot of dreaming tonight, ladies and gents. And my projection is Tim. Let's go. Tim, fade it, baby. He is there. I double checked. That's why I was up on the cliff. You know how it is. It's a home run. Yeah, Ken Glazer. You're going to see some good stuff the second half. That's a
Couldn't be better.
No, absolutely. Don't hold a candle to the first half. Is there anybody here from the second? No. To talk a little bit about his work, but that's Ken Glazer. Check him out at glazerbeam.com. Moving right along. This piece comes from a country, Bratislava. A guy called Martin Smetana. It's called Rosso Papavero, which I interpret as the real red poppy. And again, the underlying theme this evening seems to be the dream world, the dream life. And this, it's a fascinating piece of work, beautifully wrought. I think you'll enjoy it. Rosso Papavero, the real red poppy. On the eve of Fat Tuesday, enjoying the expression of dreams in the dream world. Next piece is it's musical in nature, wrought by a producer in Basel, Switzerland, a guy called Roland von Tessen. Goes by the name Bit Turner. This thing is called Immune. Quite powerful. Get ready to get deep into the theta groove. Not the alpha, not the delta, not the beta, but the theta. Strange representation. You'll dig it.